Good evening. I'm Caitlin Sawyer, and tonight I'm going to be telling you about assistive technologies in the classroom. There are three important topics that will be covered throughout this video. The first thing that will be covered is which tools are the most powerful and important to use with our students who have disabilities. The second thing that we will talk about is how to incorporate these technologies into our classroom. Finally, we will be discussing the outcomes that these technologies are going to have with our kids who have disabilities. First off, we're going to start talking about which technology is the most powerful and important that I found while doing my research. This one is called text-to-speech. Text-to-speech allows you to see text and hear it read aloud at the same time. So this could be used for your students who have reading disabilities. I'm going to go about that more in depth after we go over this question, but I just want to give you an example to start off. So text-to-speech, you can have the text, you can have a book read, but as they're reading through the text, they're able to hear it at the same time. So for our students who struggle with reading, they're reading along, but they're also hearing these words repeated over and over in their head, so they can get used to learning it and saying it on their own. Text-to-speech doesn't assist just one or two types of disabilities. It assists multiple. That's why I really liked it, because I think that I could use it a lot in my classroom one day, because it helps a ton of people. It's designed to help children who have difficulties reading or understanding standard print. This standard print will also come along with students who have auditory disorders. So I'll go into that afterwards as well. Finally, text-to-speech helps with any disability that impedes the ability to read. So text-to-speech is really used to help students better their reading. Okay, so now that we talked about which tools are powerful and most important, I'm going to go in to how I will use this into my classroom. I already introduced the two disabilities that I will use text-to-speech for most likely in my classroom. One is reading disabilities. The second is APD, which is auditory processing disorder. I'm going to first give you a little definition of each and then give you ways to use text-to-speech in the classroom with these students. Reading disabilities are for students who are on text-to-speech for reading disabilities are for students who are on lower reading levels. I would allow these students to have their independent practice time using the text-to-speech. So after we go through, for example, in social studies, I've seen this happen now in class and during my placement. So once we go through for social studies, reading the thing about Native Americans, for their independent practice, I would allow them to get on the computer, see a passage about Native Americans, and also hear it read to them so they can practice seeing the words and putting it to how they sound as well. I would also make sure for students when they're reading disabilities who are using this technology, I would make sure that the subtitles are on so that they are seeing the words and hearing them at the same time. It also helps students who cannot read on their own. Not only is it allowing them to read along and see the words, but it allows them to follow along and practice their reading. Okay, secondly, we're going to talk about APD. This is a condition that prevents kids from processing what they hear in the same way other kids do, because their ears and brain don't work fully. They don't fully coordinate with each other. So for auditory disorders, students will be able to see the text and hear it read aloud to them. This will allow kids to click on highlighted words, and it allows students with APD to see words and hear how they are pronounced. It also helps students with skills such as decoding. So hearing the word, breaking it apart to each individual sound, and understanding how the word is made up. Finally, we're going to talk about the outcome of these technologies. During my research, I was watching a TED Talk about a man who had muscular dystrophy, and he was going in telling about the technologies that he used to do the things he loves every day, which is to paint. And that brought to my attention how important these technologies are for our students to be able to strive and meet their goals every day despite the disabilities that they suffer with every day. The outcomes from providing these technologies will benefit our students in the long run due to the extra assistance they provide. So that's my, thank you.